everybody, it's Femtrooper, and today we're going to be talking about 4 RPGs that I have never beaten or got to the end of. So I just want to talk about them as a little bit of a way to inspire myself to actually finish them. They're all major titles, and hopefully I can dig deeper and figure out why I never actually finished them. First one is Final Fantasy VII. Huge title. I've never beaten this. I feel really bad. I'm about 30 hours into it, which is a lot. It's about halfway through the game. It's about a 60-hour game or 50-hour game, depending on how you're playing it. And I honestly just stopped playing it, just completely. I was so into it. I was so excited when I finally found this. I bought it, and I started it immediately. And then, 28 hours in or whatever, just completely put it down and forgot about it. I actually was playing this when I first started my channel, and then just over. So I'm trying to figure out why is it exactly that I stopped playing this game. I am guessing it's the fact that it is relatively grind heavy, and if you guys know me, you know I hate grinding. I know a lot of people like it because it's a huge part of playing RPGs is battling. I like battling when it progresses. I don't like battling just to stay in the same area to progress, if that makes any sense. I hate it when I battle and I don't get, from 1 to 2, and when you just go from 1 to 1.1. I want to actually progress through a story. So, if you're going from here to here, I want to battle and get from here to here. I don't want to sit and continuously battle and battle and battle and battle and battle and sort of go nowhere just to level up. Like, I hate it. It's just, I don't know, I love RPGs, but that's one part of them I really don't like, and I really found that Final Fantasy VII had a lot of that. And I'll be honest, and maybe this is just me, I found myself using a walkthrough a lot. Like, I was constantly being like, where the hell do I go now? And I hate that. I really like it when they give you some kind of guidance or it's like pretty obvious. I know a lot of older RPGs on the sort of Super Nintendo, PlayStation 1 era, there's a lot of sort of, what the hell? And that kind of bothers me, and that sort of threw me off because it was constantly like, I know what's going on in the story, I'm not confused, but then it's like, I'm going somewhere, I'm not 100% sure why. And that really bothered me because it was just, I don't know, it kind of threw me off. I like the story, but I was never like completely immersed in it, and I think, to be honest, it's due to all the hype. There is so much hype about Final Fantasy VII being the best RPG of all time, best RPG ever made, the best story in gaming, the best characters, how Cloud is the best, how Sephiroth is the best, and I feel like all this hype, and then you finally get to it, and you're like, it's good, but it just didn't blow me away. So that was a little frustrating because I was a little let down, just because everyone says it's the best Final Fantasy, and then I get to it and I'm thinking like, it's good, but I don't know. So that's sort of the reason I didn't beat Final Fantasy VII. However, I have to say the music in this game is absolutely phenomenal. It's one of the best for Final Fantasy. I love it, and even that gets me nostalgic despite not having played the game. I think I started this in 2012, so I really do want to get back into it. After playing Theatrhythm, and I was playing a lot of the Final Fantasy stuff, or Final Fantasy VII specifically, it really, really, really made me want to get back into Final Fantasy VII because it's one of those games that I feel like everybody should play, especially somebody like me who likes JRPGs, so totally unacceptable. I need to finish it, and I still pretty much do know what's going on and where I am in the game. I was just at a really grind-heavy part where I was spending like 2 hours at a time just grinding, and then going to a boss and dying, and then grinding for another hour, and I just thought, this is a huge waste of my time, and I put it down. So that's the end of the story of Final Fantasy VII. If anybody has any inspiring words about that game, please let me know, because it was actually a pretty good game. Those are the reasons I put it down. Next up, we have another heavy hitter, and that is Xenoblade Chronicles. The biggest reason that I didn't finish this game? The grinding. There you go. So I think we're starting to find a pattern in this. I stopped playing it because of the grinding. And it's funny because this RPG has everything in an RPG that I want. I think that Xenoblade Chronicles was great. I love the story. I love the characters. I love the voice acting. I love the environments. I love that you can save whenever you want. There was just so many things about it. The music, everything is good. The amount of places you can go for a Wii game is beyond. I was so impressed when I first got this. You know, Dustin Christ sent it to me because he actually could find one where he lives. And I was so excited. And then I got about 30 hours in, and I just was like, I can't deal with this because I got to a place and I wasn't able to beat like the specific boss or wherever I was. I know where I am in it. And just completely had to go grind. And I think a huge reason to do with that is there's a lot of these side quests you can do, and the side quests actually make you level up, which is great. It's not like you just get money, you actually level up. And I hate side quests, so I thought, well, I'm not doing that. I'll grind a bit, but I just thought every major boss or, you know, mini boss that I got to, it was just constant grinding, and I thought, oh, I don't like this because I'm spending 2 hours of my life just battling, going nowhere. It's not like I could say, oh, I played Xenoblade Chronicles for 2 hours today and I did this, I went here, I met a new character, got to a new town, nothing. I was just like, I'm grinding, I'm bored. So I stopped playing it. And I feel really bad because I'll be honest with you, I actually really liked it. So I have to admit, I almost rather go back to Xenoblade Chronicles than Final Fantasy VII just because really cool idea. Like, I loved the story. It was so interesting. So I'm kind of bummed that I put it down. I do know where I am. I don't need to restart it because I will literally get very upset because I put so much time into it and I know what's going on. But man, I don't know, like there's so many good things. The positives outweigh the negatives for sure. But damn, like I was just spending too much time grinding. And for me, like if I have to sit, you know, not have to, sorry, this is a hobby, obviously. When I sit down and play a game for 3 hours straight, I want to see a little bit of progress after that 3 hours. The only time I don't care as much is if you're at the very end of the game and you're at like a final boss and you've spent 3 hours grinding. I kind of get that, but it's like for a game that people spend like 80 hours on and I'm only into 30 hours of it, I feel like I shouldn't be spending 3 hours grinding. Maybe I'm shitty at it. I don't know, but I was just getting frustrated. So that's the reason I stopped playing Xenoblade Chronicles, and hopefully I will get back into it because it is, honestly, it is really good. I can say that. I did an impressions video and I had nothing but good things to say, so hopefully I can get back into it. Next up, we have another major title. It's another Final Fantasy game, and it is Final Fantasy VI, or 3 in North America. This one is funny because I have 3 versions of this. I have the Super Famicom version, I have a PlayStation, the 1 Anthology version, and I have it on the Vita, which is actually how I'm playing it, is on the Vita, because I thought, I'm not playing the PlayStation 1 version, and the Vita goes with me everywhere, so what better way than to play it there? I want to say 20-something, 30. I'm actually pretty far into this game. It's not like an 80-hour game or anything, so it's not like being 30 hours is not that far. And you know what? It's funny because this one isn't about grinding. I found the pace of the battling, perfect. You know, you'd progress, you'd get to a boss, everything was good. I didn't have to be like, oh crap, this boss is hard, and then spend 3 hours grinding and then finally beat it. It was like, no, everything was good. But I think for me, the reason I'm actually still consider myself kind of playing this because I haven't put it down for that long, but it's long enough that I feel like I kind of did. And it's mostly, it was a little dark. I really like whimsical, magical RPGs. This one is very dark. Like, the world is complete shit, and they're basically trying to fight for what's left of it. I actually was enjoying it, and there were a lot of parts that were very interesting and very iconic for the series, like the opera scene. So many amazing things, and then I just put it down, which is too bad, and it's portable, so not really a lot of excuses. I can take it anywhere. So I really have to get back into it, but it's a little dark, and it has sort of that medieval type feeling. I guess I'll give you an example. In Final Fantasy VI, a lot of the towns, they all look the same. And I kind of understand why. But every time I got somewhere new, I never felt this like sense of wow or ooh, ah feeling. I never got it. And that's because just everything kind of looked the same. And I was always kind of cranky about that, where I thought, oh, there's a new village, I'm so excited. And then it was kind of a letdown because all the shops and houses and whatever all kind of looked the same. And I was just kind of let down, like, oh, I want to see completely new type of village or whatever. And I wasn't getting that. And I think that also was sort of a turnoff for me for this game, because I just like every time you progress through a map, like, you know, you go different places on a world map, I just wanted to see something completely different. And I just wasn't getting that. And I was a little bit mad. So that's sort of a reason. But, you know, the battle system is great. The pace is good. And I'll admit it was a little bit of a walkthrough type game for me, where I go, what the hell? Like, is it this way? Is it this way? Like, geez, which town am I supposed to go to? Like, it wasn't as obvious to me, and that sort of threw me off. But again, I know a lot of older RPGs are like that, where it's like, what the hell? So, and you'd be on the world map going like, oh God, where do I go? So that kind of messed me up, but I'm pretty far into it, and a lot of major events that, you know, from this game I've seen and I've played. So I just have to give it another shot and get back into it, because it has such a really neat feeling, and I like that, but it was missing this sense of whimsicality, if that's a word, that I like a lot. Now, I don't want to compare everything to Earthbound, but because it's my favorite game, but that game is just so whimsical and magical and colorful, and I really like that. So it's hard sometimes to play games like RPGs that are more in a medieval setting where it's very dark, and because it's not as much my thing. Like, for example, Skyrim, games like that, I hate. It's just too Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm not into it. So I think that was a reason why I wasn't as gung-ho about Final Fantasy VI, so hopefully I can get back into it. It is a game I want to finish. All the games I've mentioned are games I want to go back to. They're not 100% quits. There are other RPGs I've never finished that I'm not going to talk about, because either I'm never going back to them, or I started them, 10 years ago, and I don't count them as games I never finished because I was like 13, and I feel like that doesn't count. I'll just replay it. So yeah, all these games I want to check out again and definitely get back to, because they're all good games. The last game that I want to talk about is actually a game I consider to be one of my favorite games, which is really awful that I've never finished it. And that game is Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. And this game I have no reason. There's no reason, because I like the battle system, I like the characters, I love the music, I love the art style. Everything about it is good. So the only reason I just put it down, I think, was just life got in the way. And the reason I want to talk about it is because this is a game that is sort of a New Year's resolution for me. I really want to beat it in the, sort of first quarter of next year, because I've so badly wanted to beat this game. I have no idea how far I am into this. I don't think that far, but I've always had it, and it's one of the first RPGs I ever played. It was either Earthbound or this one. I'm not for sure which one was my first, but I don't know. There's something really, it's so up my alley. It's colorful, it's whimsical. There's creepy, dark moments that you don't expect, That's why I love these games that look so happy, but they're so dark at the same time. That's what I love. They throw weird curveballs at you, and you're like, ew, that's kind of awful. And I love that in RPG, because it's just so interesting. And I love that it was Mario, and it wasn't a normal Mario game. It's just so interesting. So that is a game that is it beats all the rest. I'm going to be playing that very soon I need something like on console that I can really just get into. I didn't mention Final Fantasy X only because I started it this year, and I've only had it put down for a couple months, so I feel like it could easily get added to this list, or I can do something about it. I'm stuck in that game because I'm at a really crappy boss that has nothing to do with like your skill. It's like a timed thing. Like, you have to know where to move at a certain point, and I literally was freaking out and wanted to throw the controller at the screen, because it had nothing to do with you not being leveled high enough. It was like, if you don't move at a certain time, you don't switch characters. It was a really shitty thing, and I hated it, so I put the game down. So it's really bad. So these are 4 RPGs that I will definitely get back to. I just have to figure out what is more of a priority, because they're all so good, and some games I want to be, they're almost like watching classic movies. Like when somebody says some movie that's just, you know, a classic, and you say, have you seen it? And they say, no, I've never seen that before, and it just hurts so much. It's kind of like that. Like, it probably kills people to be like, oh yeah, I never beat Final Fantasy 6 or Final Fantasy 7. They're just so classic. And Xenoblade Chronicles, I feel like, is sort of a new game that'll be set to be a classic. In 10 years, people will look back at Xenoblade Chronicles like, wow, that was such an amazing game. And I want to be a part of, you know, the people who can say I made it to the end, and I went through this amazing journey and got through this amazing story, because it actually is. It's so good. So I will admit that. It's not because any of these games are bad. So those are RPGs I've never finished, and hopefully I will beat them soon, and I will beat this guy right here right away, because it's just so good, and I want to actually see it straight to the end. So that's all I have to say. Sort of a little bit embarrassed, but whatever. Everyone has games that they just shelf for a while and don't, they sort of forget about. So those are 4 games that I need to beat. And anyway, yeah. So I'll see you guys next time.